Sunny morning so far. Morning, dog. Morning, Anna. Where are you going? Well, I have high hopes of starting on corn today, but first we have an issue that we need to figure out, and I'm gonna use this GoPro here to try to figure it out. So you see the distributor way up on our grain leg there. If you've watched recent videos, you know we got an issue going on in there. And the issue is making itself worse quickly. So we need to figure out where it's coming from and figure out if we need to order a neck for inside there, or if we can weld up a patch, or if it needs a set of brushes, or I don't know what's going on. But I can't, there's no platform to stand right there, so I'm gonna have Onyx run beans through the leg, and I'm gonna be up there sticking a GoPro down in there to try and figure out what's going on. Onyx will be out to help me in a bit, but first I need to climb both these bins and find out exactly where we're at, because we're getting very full, I know that. Oh yeah, she's full. Right up to about here. Full. Now there should be enough room for hopefully 2 loads left in this bin. I'll find out when I get up there. We need to put some escalators in. So you can see around the edges, this is the bin we overfilled. We pulled it back down to get it out of the roof, and we've been dumping back into it. So that cone comes up. We want to stop that cone before it gets back out to that roof. I'm somewhat confident that it'll fit a full load, but I don't think it's gonna fit 2. I'm just gonna head all the way up there. By the time I get up there, Onyx should be here. So I'm gonna take you guys with me, but I'll put you in my pocket for the climb. Okay, I've made it to the summit of Johnson Farms here. There's a lot to see from up here. Okay, I got my knee pads laid out for this terribly uncomfortable steel. And inside there is our problem. So this is not supposed to be filled with beans in there. I'm sorry, my cheap camera doesn't zoom in for you, but we have a leak somewhere in this neck inside here. So this is filling with beans, and it's sending them down into bins that we don't want them in. And the best platform I have to see it is from right here, 5 feet above it. So I'm gonna send this GoPro on a selfie stick down in there while it's running to see what I can see. And there's my engineer down there that's gonna run the buttons for me. Okay, you can go ahead and start them up. Okay, Onyx.
Yeah.
Start it all up again and let it run for twice that long. Okay, I got a decent view. I don't know exactly what it is there. Yep, just hang tight.
What?
Just hang tight. I don't know if you can see that at all or not. You know what, Becky, we could use this footage, actually. Why don't we just use this footage in the video? All right, I think I've got sufficient footage, and I've already sent a couple screenshots to our millwright guys, so we'll see what they say. They're gonna need a basket truck to get out here and climb in there, I suppose. All right, I'll see you guys at the bottom. I'm back on planet Earth. We're gonna run this load up in there now. It's running right now. And then I'm gonna see how full that other bin is, see what we can fit in there. And then we're out of soybean space. So we got a few more loads to go to the elevator, and hopefully we'll be finished up today. This is so much harder to do with one hand, but secretly between you and me, I already checked it, and then I decided to turn the camera on and take a clip. In other words, the oil level is fine on this truck.
Hi there.
Morning.
So, I'm combining.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if you're going up at the park there.
Yeah, I'm just on my first tank full, but I checked, my weights on the scale, I was off 7%
Ooh.
on a truckload.
Oh.
So, I don't know, I checked with a cart 3 or 4 times in the last 4 days probably. One time it was right on, and then usually it was about 3% low.
I've got both bins full right now. They're full, and we got about 300 bushels left in the front of this truck that Alan brought back last night.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure how you want to work that, if we just bring that to the elevator. Onyx and I cleaned up a little bit. The only thing we got to do yet is sweep in the wet bin, but I wanted to make sure we're done running beans for sure before we do that.
Yeah, if everything's full, we are.
I mean, I could take a truckload of corn out or something. I mean, where?
What do you think?
Well, it's gonna wear out worse, I guess. But I mean, we can put a few loads in the wet bin. But we can't really run the dryer and leave the load going, the load conveyor and the leg moving all night long with that. I don't think. I'm hoping the distributor moves like it's supposed to when it's full of beans. It automatically priority feeds the dryer, and when the dryer's full, it runs over into the wet bin, fills that. All right, we got the bin site all ready for taking corn. Onyx is gonna fire the combine. What's that?
What plate was it?
It's there's a scraper in the back of the auger. It's hard to see, it's down below, but so you see the top one there that's not adjustable? It's this flat bar there.
Oh, yeah.
There's one below it that's got an adjustment to it, and it's scraping somewhere when you fire it up.
Oh, okay.
And I remember having to adjust one of those last year. Last night when I was running it, I couldn't tell exactly where on the header it was scraping. So we're gonna have Onyx fired up, and Jim and I are gonna kind of watch and see if we can find the spot. But you gotta open the hopper in order to do that. No, it's not doing it this morning. It's nothing there, it sounds fine. Well, we fixed it. Jim said it got colder out, so it shrunk. It was the weather that opened it up more. I don't know, I remember having to adjust that once last year.
I remember you saying that,
Yeah. Now it sounds fine this morning. No, so it must have barely been touching last night, but I don't know. I'll know what it is if I hear the sound again. At least I'll get the bean dust pushed through the combine. Jim is off with the truck. Onyx is gonna jump in the chisel plow and head back down to our quarter to the south here. I'm gonna clean the bean dust out of my combine cap because I just can't stand bean dust, and we're done with that now. See if I can get some of the parts out of the seat. And I know I will be happier if I do this stupid job too. It needs it. Cab is clean, got the windows clean, and then I remembered that we had about 2,000 pounds worth of soybeans in the grain cart yet, so had to pull an empty truck over the pits, dump the grain cart into that, dump it into the pits, move the distributor, dump it back in that bin, clean up the floor in the wet bin, change the distributor back, basically everything we just did all over again. But now I'm ready to go.
Not transactional ones.
I'm only going right across the road off the end of the driveway, but I can't really get through my trees over here with the header open.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday Farm Review on the Linder Farm Network with half bone-in or half country pit.
Minnesota corn farmers be the most.
All right, I got my field checked here. Wonder if I can switch my back. Okay, it's on varieties, right? So that I will see the varieties in the background. What am I doing? Okay, now, okay, all right, okay. So it's gonna show me the different varieties of corn in here. It's gonna show them a little better once I actually get into the field. And then it's gonna leave a coverage map of the yield. I've got my auto path set up, so it's gonna actually follow the rows, and it knows exactly where things have been planted. So it's gonna follow the planted lines in this field on the end rows and through the actual rows. And then it's also gonna use the row sensors here just to make sure we're on track. We'll fire back up. And idle up. Make sure our settings here for the machine are set where we want them. Then we'll start out with this incredible looking corn right here next to the approach, because we take everything in and out of this approach, so all the compaction, this is what you get. That's why compaction is a bad thing. There we go. Initial thoughts, we look pretty clean in the tank. Couple cob pieces in there, but pretty clean overall. We'll go see, make sure we're not leaving corn behind us. So we're gonna check down the middle and just inside the duals. There's a couple kernels there. There's nothing there. And then we're gonna check out here where the corn looks really tall again. End rows are always poor yielding, especially in wet areas with a lot of compaction on a bad year. Overall, pretty clean. We're not sending corn out here, but we're really not in the high yielding better stuff yet anyway. Our cobs are coming out a little broken up, so our I can't think of it. Concave needs to be opened. We want the cobs to come out like this. That's ideal. Well, we're not in the best yielding stuff yet, and we don't have things dialed in, but to start with, things look pretty good back here. I'm gonna guess it feels like 23 or 4%. I always get a lot of people that ask why we don't just wait for it to dry down, and the answer is the weather. If we wait for it to dry down, eventually it just gets really cold and it starts raining or snowing and it gets muddy, and then it just kind of stops drying down because it's not warm anymore. So when we can go, we go. There's some corn. You forget how quickly that fills up on corn. Unreal, but boy, the numbers I'm seeing right now, yields are better than expected as of right now, once I got to this spot on the ends. And the moisture, well, moisture's telling me 18.5 average so far, which would be absolutely nuts. I don't know if I believe it or not. I'm going to take a handful and go up the driveway and test it for myself. Well, I've got about a hopper full. I'm going to go get a grain cart. Double check things back here as well. Things look really clean back here. We still have some green leaves on a lot of these plants, but the moisture on the monitor's reading quite dry. I'll go get a bucket and test it, run back and forth, and I'll get the grain cart. And for those wondering, it is generally safe to be walking through this neighborhood this time of day. I should be all right. Where's your friend at? She'll come running when she hears the engine fire up. Look at that. Oh, you wanted to join, huh? Here you go. Oh, you gotta circle it first. Circle it first. All right, now, get in, numbnuts, let's go. You sure are goofy. Look out, cat. All right, let's go see what we've got. That is unbelievable right there. I don't know if I expect all of our corn to be that dry, but oh my gosh. So the combine is right. That is amazingly dry. We are gonna have another harvest where we have super dry corn. For where we were at a month ago, this is incredible. I mean, a month, 6 weeks ago, it just kept raining, never stopped. We put cables under the second combine because we figured we were gonna be pulling it out of the mud a dozen times, and it hasn't rained now since then. And it is just dry and dusty. We've had 80, 85 degrees in wind, and it just dried this stuff down. This is unbelievable. I mean, I'm extremely happy because I thought we were going to be taking 28, 30, 32% corn, which we've done. And it is kind of a nightmare. It's ugly corn, it's ugly stuff. Wow, this is perfect. I have good news, ladies. The corn's really dry. Are you pumped? They're pumped. Okay, back at it. I'm not going to take much here because we won't have room for much yet. We got to get that distributor fixed. And Dad and Jim are going to need some rides, but why not keep going here while I can? Dad is back. We are all finished up with soybeans now. Jim is back also, and that noise you hear above my head is well, that's corn falling onto the cab already. We're gonna double check our weights here, make sure our yield monitor is still close. And that whole cab corn thing, you know, just, I mean, that's just, it's a thing that happens. Just ignore it. It happens to all of us.
Out here, we'll park that in the field. 47,840.
47,840. Well, the cart is reading 400 pounds more than the combine, and that's at 25,000 pounds, so we're pretty dang close.
That's really close, isn't it?
Probably can't get any closer than that. Jim and Dad and I right now are going to run up to the shooting park to grab the header and the trailer and the combine. And I believe they got a semi up there if I'm keeping my facts straight here. Dita with DHS Grain is going to climb that leg and climb into that distributor. He's got a harness on. We gave him a harness. He's going to climb in that distributor and pull that neck out, take it to his shop and weld AR steel inside there because the company is 4 weeks out on any parts for that. So big time thanks to DHS Grain out of Hoffman for getting out here and getting that done. Otherwise, we're dead in the water. There's no harvesting corn for us because we can't get it to where it needs to go. And this time of year, not harvesting corn just makes us crabby. Yeah, so he'll be hanging 100 feet in the air, doing his thing. That's why I farm, because I'd make a terrible acrobat. We're all loaded up. Bring it back home and see where Dita's at with getting things out of that distributor. So this is our shooting park I mentioned in the last video that we own part of. You guys have probably seen it on the channel, but 150 campsites. Got a ballroom that'll easily fit a couple 300 people there, and 20 trap houses right now. So if you like shooting sports, head on out here in the summertime. If you don't, we got the ballroom. You can have like wedding receptions or high school graduations, family reunions, things like that. It works out really well if you got a big event. People need a place to stay. We got the campgrounds here with electrical hookups and dump stations. Lots of fun stuff going on out here all summer. Call and talk to Tyler if you're interested. He's our manager, part owner, good buddy of mine, does a great job of taking care of this place. Tractors everywhere this time of year. Unhooked. What, are you leaving us?
I guess.
All right. Well, it'll be more peaceful around here then.
Yeah.
Well, Dita's gone. He texted me and that part is out. So honestly, that means we can't run anything through the leg until they're back out here with that part in tomorrow. Sounds like early afternoon. Dad's on his way home with the combine. There's really no reason in me hustling out to the field and getting as much out as I can because we're just going to fill a truck or two and be done right away. I think I'm going to find the Ranger and head out and check on Onyx, make sure everything is looking good there because he's just been going for several hours. And then I'm going to come back and I'll either start taking some corn or I'll hook up the ripper. Time to get the ripper hooked up to the 9570 RT and get that machine going. So it's really not terrible timing to have the leg being down at the moment because we're slow right now anyway. Middle of next week would have been pretty tough. We would not have enjoyed having the leg be down. We still have about 5 acres of green beans 1 mile north of us that we left. So this machine will be coming back out probably next week again, just to finish those 5 acres up. We are gonna drop the pin on the ripper, hook the ripper up to the tractor first before I go check on what Onyx is doing. That way there's 2 of us here, it's just easier. One guy can drop the pin. If you're not lined up, you don't have to get in and out of the tractor 5 times. Not that I would ever, you know, back up to an implement and not hit it perfect the first time and have to do that, but there's a risk. So this has got, I don't know, jack stands or jacks on the back of it to keep it from tipping backwards when you unhook it. So we got it lifted up now. I'm just gonna have them pull it out a few feet so we can get to the shorter grass. I think I'm gonna get this in first.
Yeah. You want help with that?
Yeah, balance that so I can take it out here.
I can hold back.
We already have a couple shanks for that. Ah, got it. Now we check tires, grease everything, look at the points, consider putting new ones on, maybe replace a C-shank or 2. You know, standard stuff with a ripper. And fantastic news, Onyx called and he's got a diesel exhaust fluid tank heater temperature very high. Warning. So the DEF system, the emission system, something with the tank heater on that is going crazy, or it's just a sensor. Either way, I told him to stop, so I'm gonna run out and go grab him as soon as we get this thing in the shop. It's always something. Or it's always multiple things. Kind of forgot about that little guy right there. Might have to do something with that also. I guess Dad wanted to go get on it. He must have really not wanted to work on the ripper. And the chisel plow it does?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
The most exciting part is getting out every 8 rounds to walk and make sure nothing's broke. Not 8 rounds.
You check all the points, nothing's,
Yeah.
everything looks fine?
It did 6 rounds.
Good dogs. Look at you. I just had to pet you. You can keep napping. The co-op drove through the yard a minute ago. They're gonna put fertilizer on this 100 acres north of us so we can till that tomorrow. As long as we got a chisel plow tractor that's working. And I got this thing greased up and the tires are good. So instead of doing everything else tonight, I'm actually gonna take it out to some hay ground, bust up some old hay with it, and then tomorrow, the bearings will be all shined up and it'll actually be nicer to work on. Yes. No, I was wrong, actually. I've got the RT, yeah. I was messing with you. It's the other 9570. Okay, so as long as it's fine to run with it that way, I just won't worry about it until you got one. But if you have one tomorrow, you say? Okay. Let me know tomorrow if you've got one coming. And if we do have to wait until, if we got to run somewhere, we can do it. Or if we got to wait until Monday, you can teach me how to pinch that hose off. Okay, thanks. Bye. Sounds like that DEF tank heater situation on the chisel plow tractor. It's okay to run with it that way. It's more annoying than anything. There's a hose we can pinch off, apparently, if it bothers us. Otherwise, they got the part coming that he knows we need. But it'll either be here tomorrow or it's Friday as I record this, so maybe it'll be Monday, I don't know. Jeez, somebody needs to wash these windows. Not it. hay got put in like 2015 or 16, somewhere in there. This is old hay that's done pretty well, but as hay does, it gets old and it stops producing as much. So we killed it off, or I guess most of it off, with the sprayer here several weeks ago, and we're going to till it under, and this will be corn next year. Got some hay ground done. It's evening now. I'm going to take my wife to dinner. It's kind of weird that we technically could be going on corn right now, but we're not. And I'm kind of quitting a little bit early. But with that leg down, there's really not much we can do. We could take 2 loads out in the next 30 minutes and then we'd be full anyway. We can't do anything without that leg. So it might be the last chance I get for a couple, 2-3 weeks to take my wife to dinner, so I'm just gonna do that. And if you think I'm crazy because I'm a farmer and I'm taking off the evening in the middle of harvest, well, that's fine. I don't really care what you think. In fact, I would suggest that you head to our link down below to the Farm Focus site and check out our new apparel like this Farm Around and Find Out one that Onyx actually designed, which I think is pretty cool. We got several new designs over there and some hats and all that good stuff. So thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. More than you know. You make it hard to pet you when you take naps inside your kennel. You know you're not even locked in. She just likes to lay in there.